On this week's episode of the Red and Gold Report, we're going to be discussing the Chiefs' biggest decision of the entire offseason. But first, let's get you caught up on all of the news out of Chiefs Kingdom. First up, the NFL announced that a 2022 regular season game, yes, this upcoming season, is going to be played in Munich, Germany. The Chiefs are a very strong candidate to play in this game, and I would start a GoFundMe page just to see Travis Kelce in Lederhosen. In other news, Chiefs center Creed Humphrey received 2 votes for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know he didn't win it or even close, but I mean, people ignore offensive linemen as bad as lemon jello at a buffet line, so even getting 2 votes, that is an actual accomplishment. In other news, at the recent NFL Honors event, it was announced that former Chiefs coach Dick Vermeil is headed into the Hall of Fame later this year. The Vermeils have been family friends of ours for decades, and I have to tell you that on a personal level, all of that passion, all of that kindness that you saw out of him on TV, that's all genuine. He was an incredible coach, and he's an incredible guy, and I'm happy for him heading in to the Hall of Fame. In other recent Chiefs news, several Chiefs played in the recent Pro Bowl. Watching the Pro Bowl is a great reminder of why no one watches the Pro Bowl anymore. And this Pro Bowl in Vegas, it looked like a lazy off-season practice in shells if everyone had gone out and partied the night before in Vegas. I mean, it's fun to see Mahomes and Hill and Kelce and Orlando Brown and Tyrann Mathieu and Chris Jones get out there, but the game is impossible to watch these days. I mean, I remember going to Hawaii back in the day to the Pro Bowl and seeing like Lawrence Thomas and Joe Montana and all those guys at the hotel. I mean, true legends. But today, the fact that the best center in the NFL, Creed Humphrey, didn't make the Pro Bowl while Frank Clark, the 80th best defensive end, did, it's a joke. Look at this effort. Really, why even are they playing this game? I would much rather watch Pee-wee. In other news, Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bienemy has officially not been hired again as a head coach. I love the guy. I would hire him instantly tomorrow if I became in charge of another team's organization. But for the Chiefs, it is good news to get him back. It's more continuity. Now you'll notice that there's several clickbait articles online about Bienemy's contract expiring and how he could sign with another team just to be their offensive coordinator. That's ridiculous, and those people don't know what they're talking about. Assistant coaches haven't signed long-term contracts for decades. It's totally normal for 1 or 2 year deals to be signed. Expect Bienemy to return to Kansas City for his 5th season as offensive coordinator. In other news, the Chiefs must have watched my video from last week about filling out the roster because they have now signed 17 players this month to reserve future contracts. The online news likes to make a big deal about every one of these signings, but most of these guys only have a slightly better chance of making the roster than you do next year. And hey, real quick, if you want the best Kansas City Chiefs news brought to you weekly, then subscribe to this channel on YouTube, hit that notification bell, and you know what? If you've been watching on Facebook, thank you so much. And to get these videos at the highest quality and earlier, head over to YouTube and subscribe on YouTube as well. So with the weekly news in the books, let's move on to some offseason insights. Over the next weeks, before free agency starts, we're going to be looking at a different position group every week here on the Red and Gold Report, reviewing how they played last year, previewing what might happen in the position group this offseason. So the biggest offseason decision for the Chiefs is going to be what to do with impending free agent left tackle Orlando Brown. The Chiefs traded a first-rounder last year for Brown, and last year he played about how you would expect, which was good. But now he's a free agent and the biggest question mark of the Chiefs offseason. When evaluating Brown's tape, he's always seemed a little polarizing to me. On the positive end, this dude's enormous. I mean, he's listed at 6'8", 6 feet, 8 inches, 345 pounds, but my guess is he's a biscuit away from 370. He had a PFF grade of 75.3 for the season, so he had a just slightly above average season for a starting tackle. And for his career, he's had an above average pass block win rate. He's still only 25 years old. I mean, that's crazy, right? And best of all, he's durable. He's played in every game of his 4-year career. On the negative side, though, his girth and his lack of physical conditioning undermines his ability to move quickly. This results in below average run blocking grades every year because he just has trouble in space and he has trouble reaching that second level. It also means that while he is able to just golf average pass rushers, or a lot of times even those bull rushers, speed rushers turn the edge on him very quickly. So he gives up more pressures than a top end left tackle should. All that adds up to a $100 million question. What's he worth? I mean, seriously, what is an above average, young and durable left tackle worth in the NFL? Well, apparently a lot. SpotTrack estimates a $23.3 million a year contract. I would estimate actually like a 4-year, $100 million deal. To make things harder, Brown forced his way out of Baltimore last year after demanding to play left tackle so he could make more money, like specifically so he can make more money. So don't expect the Chiefs to be able to be clipping coupons on this contract, right? Instead, I estimate that he will likely receive the franchise tag this year, which is about $16.5 million. The other option that the Chiefs are obviously going to look into is a longer-term contract, somewhere in that 4-year, $100 million deal, but they'll backload it because of the cap issues this year. And you know what? On a team building note, this is why trading for players without extending their contracts is so challenging. Now, I like Orlando Brown. I hope he's with the Chiefs for years, but this is why this is such a challenge to trade for a player without a contract in place. Because really, what do you do with him? I mean, what do you do with a player who is not elite, who, because of his physical limitations, is probably never going to be elite, but who's good, who plays a key position, and you just gave up so much to trade for? That's why this is the hardest decision of the offseason for the Chiefs. Now, next, as we talk about this offensive line heading into this offseason, let's talk about the carousel that was the right tackle position for the Chiefs last season, where 3 different right tackles started in 2021 due to injuries. First-year player and former third-round pick Lucas Niang is the only one still under contract. After taking his rookie season off with the pandemic, Niang graded below average. He did actually show some flashes of promise, particularly in run blocking, but ultimately he fell out of favor with the coaches, and his top-heavy body and his inconsistent movement could limit his ceiling. Taking over for Niang partway through the season was Mike Remmers. Remmers is a veteran, and he has had durability issues. He has not played a full season since 2018, and he graded poorly. So as a free agent, it might not be a good option to bring him back. But after he was hurt, Andrew Wiley, then the third right tackle, took over. Wiley really struggled in pass protection and is a free agent this year that the team could definitely afford not to bring back. All in all, the Chiefs need help at right tackle, but with limited resources, my guess is they will bring in a low-cost veteran and a late-round draft pick to challenge Niang for that right tackle spot. And that brings me to what I actually want to talk about, which is the best offensive center in the league, Creed Humphrey. His season was unheard of last year. Unheard of success. As a second-round rookie, he received a PFF grade of 91.8. Let me put that in perspective for you. It means he was by far the best center in the league. It put him in the top 5 of all offensive linemen. It broke the highest graded rookie center record. He was the top graded rookie at any position, and he was the best Chiefs player at any position. He was an elite run blocker right from the get-go, and he improved in pass protection over this season, allowing zero pressures in 6 of the last 7 games. What more can be said? And of course, he's still under contract for 3 more years. The Chiefs also drastically improved their guard situation. At left guard, it was Joe Tooney's first year in Kansas City after coming over from New England with a huge free agent contract. I can give you all of the numbers and facts you want, but here's all you need to know. Joe Tooney is the best pass blocking guard in the NFL, and he has been for a few years now. On 805 pass blocking snaps, he allowed just 1 sack. 1. And he did that while never missing a game. Actually, he's never missed 1 game in his 6-year career. Yes, he is only an above average run blocker. I don't care. He proved to be an absolutely perfect fit for the Chiefs at left guard. Moving over to right guard, rookie Trey Smith was an absolute steal in the draft. I had him graded as a second rounder, but due to medical concerns, he dropped to the 6th round. Smith was an above average pass blocker, but he was at his best while mauling people in the run game. He was an extremely durable player as well. And fun fact, he played the most offensive snaps for the Chiefs of any offensive player. He was by far the best rookie offensive guard in the NFL last year. Yep, he was way better than the first and second rounders taken way before him. And another fun fact, Smith would have been the best interior rookie offensive lineman overall on the planet last year if it wasn't for that other Chiefs rookie, Creed Humphrey. If Smith focuses on his flexibility, his agility, his pass blocking over the offseason, I mean, he could develop into a real perennial Pro Bowler. So yeah, those 3 starting interior offensive line spots for the Chiefs are set for years to come. I would actually say that the Chiefs now have the best interior offensive line in the NFL. The only other interior offensive lineman that's still under contract that's worth mentioning is guard Nick Allegretti. Allegretti struggled in 2020 at times when he was thrust into the starting lineup, but as a backup playing in just 80 snaps in 2021, well, he proved to be very effective, particularly in pass protection where he didn't allow a single sack. He was a great asset off the bench. The other player to mention is Blythe. Blythe, a center and guard, only played in 12 snaps, but I would hope that the impending free agent is probably brought back by the Chiefs near league minimum, which he played near league minimum last year, to fortify the depth at interior offensive line. The mystery player of 2021 to talk about was Kyle Long, of course. Long signed in 2021 to much fanfare, coming out of retirement to ink a 1-year deal. It was all over the news. Then, after an offseason injury and return, he played in exactly 0 snaps. He didn't play a single snap for the Chiefs. He likely wasn't the same after retirement and after that additional injury, and I do not expect the Chiefs to re-sign him this offseason. So here's the bottom line. The biggest decision of the entire offseason for the Chiefs will be how to bring back left tackle Orlando Brown without absolutely breaking the bank. The big win of last season is that the Chiefs now probably have the best interior offensive line in football and might for years to come. But the biggest question mark on offensive line, where the team will need some help, is right tackle in free agency and the draft. But what do you think? How much of a priority should the Chiefs place on a starting right tackle? And what do you think? Do you want Orlando Brown to be re-signed to a long contract or franchise, or just to walk? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the Red and Gold Report on YouTube, and go Chiefs!